Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to our Garner project. Today, I want to talk a little bit about new beginnings. We're entering the spring here in Buffalo, well, everywhere. But with that comes the season for the uptick in the amount of projects that are going to be going on. Kids are going to be getting out of school. For people who work on seasonal jobs, more so speaking like teachers and things like that in education, or if you are working from home during the summer months, that allows for people to take on renovations and things like that. So from a contractor's perspective, I just want to give you our kind of mindset on how we approach that. Going into the spring, we know that this is going to be the busiest time of the year from about the end of May to maybe November. That is really when we do the bulk of our work. So we are always looking to get into new projects. So being that the summer months, the warmer months are the most active time for construction, we want to utilize that time to get the most creative and start to change our approach or fine tune any of the things that we have going on within the company. So that can include our standard operating procedures, the way we execute and get creative with certain projects, trying new things on projects, and just being more open-minded to the construction process in general. Because we have so many projects going on, it allows us to do that. So this summer we're going to take you through a multi-unit renovation that will show you our process from demolition all the way through our punch list. That means there's 3 bathrooms, 3 kitchens, multiple bedrooms, and that also includes the exterior of the property. So we're really excited to show that to you, and with that, it'll also be an opportunity for us to try different types of styles and design. You know, our main focus of design here in Buffalo is contemporary modern, but we'll switch it up with the types of materials as far as flooring, different types of countertops, you know, the color palettes that we use from the wall paint to the color or cabinet colors, all the way down to, you know, the styles of railings or windows. So there's a lot of work that's going to be going on, a lot of different moving parts, and you know, you'll get a really microscopic look into our process. So we're really excited to show that to you. I'm excited personally because it's one of the largest projects that we've done to date. It'll be about $160,000 worth of renovations, including material and labor. So, you know, to date for us, that's one of the bigger projects that we've worked on for Up North renovations. That being said, it makes it extremely crucial that we are particular in how we plan out this process. So we've been planning since the beginning of the year with getting our floor plans, our blueprints, our selections together, so that when we are able to finally get on this project, we're not trying to figure that out in the middle of the project. Here at our Garner project, this is a renovation that we've been working on for almost a year now. So we started this at the end of June last year. It's now the first week of May. So we're coming up just on about a year here. And honestly, it was a big learning curve for us because it was the first time that I have ran a crew this large and a project of this size for this long on my own. And you know, there was a lot of things that I learned, but it gave me the opportunity to fine tune those things and bring that into the next project and some of the smaller projects that we've been doing that we've shown you along the way in between this one. It allowed us to maneuver and really hone in on our mistakes that we made here, because this is not a client's property. So there was, not to say a different level of care that we took, but we were able to maneuver and kind of move at our own pace. Whereas in a client's house, the time element is much more of a factor due to the fact that you have to turn that property or that space over in a certain amount of time to allow them to be able to use the space. You know, that is what they hired us for, not only to create something that they love, but to be able to get back in their house and, you know, use it the way they want. From a client's perspective, you know, when you have a contractor that may not be familiar with using a certain type of material or doing a certain technique with a certain product, it's always imperative, at least for us, to be very upfront with that. You know, there's never a time where I've been afraid to try something new, because I always want to scale up, not only in the amount of work that I'm able to handle, but the level of difficulty and skill that my team is able to handle. That being said, we always are upfront. If there's something that we're not familiar with, we let the client know right then and there. Like, we are willing to do something, but we've never done it before, so there may be some type of learning curve, and that may affect the project on multiple scales. So that could be the budget, that could be the timeline, that could be the efficiency at which we get it done, not the level of execution, because we will always, promise to meet our clients' standards of expectations and our own, but how we're able, or the efficiency at which we're able to get something done. So if it's something that we have to learn or do research on, we're going to take that time instead of just trying to rush through it in order to meet the originally promised deadline. In tune with speaking about trying new things, here at Garner, we attempted to do something we'd never done before, which is completely refurbish the staircase. Aside from maybe roof framing, I think staircases are probably one of the most difficult things you can do in carpentry. For the amount of time that it took to get into it, and the learning curve that it took, I'm very happy with our rate of production and our execution on it. So I want to take you over to it and explain it to you right now. So in line with trying new things, this staircase is something that we've never done before. So originally this was more of a traditional or Victorian style staircase, but what we did, we just removed all the railings and balusters and then completely redid it from scratch. So the treads are the only thing that we kept. There was original to the house. These are oak, and we basically just retrofitted everything and kind of spiced it up and freshened it up to kind of match the aesthetic of the rest of the property that we remodeled. So the handrails themselves are oak, and then we used pine to make the newel posts and the caps. The reason being is lumber prices are crazy right now, and this isn't a client's property, but because I would much rather use poplar or some type of oak to do that, but being that our budget constraints didn't allow for that, we opted for something that was more paint grade and able to kind of mimic that contemporary look. But I'm very happy with the way that it came out. This is the first time that we've tried something like this, so all in all, it took a lot longer than we thought. We originally thought it would take only about 2 weeks. It ended up taking about 5.5 to 6 to complete it, and it's still not done. The treads themselves, we are going to stain kind of a light gray color, and then we'll coat it with a polyurethane, and the same for the handrails themselves, but the actual newel posts and caps are going to remain white. So I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it's actually 2 different color whites, and that's just because they're not finished painted, or the painters aren't finished. So once all that is done, this difference in color tone you won't be able to notice that. It was the type of thing where we had to challenge ourselves in order to get something that we wanted. We had played with different ideas and different types of styles, something a little bit more model like the cable rail, but we decided to save that for another project just because we didn't feel like it would match the aesthetic of the rest of the project. So stay tuned for that. We'll see if we can pull that off on Oxford once we get to that project. But like I said, I'm really happy with the way that this came out. The balusters themselves, we installed individually, and like I said, we made the newel boxes from scratch. So I think there was a clip in one of the other videos, or a piece of a segment in one of the other videos, where you saw Pete cutting the newel posts, and we glued them up, or I'm sorry, cut them and then glued them up and installed them one by one. So that part took about 2 weeks, and then installing the balusters and rails took about another 2.5. And that's just because of our lack of experience with it, working with the material and getting the treads even. Because this house was built in 1900, so it is 122 years old. There's a lot of been a lot of shrinkage and altering of the levelness of the floor, so we had to get all of them level and kind of reshape all of them to get them to where we want it before we installed all of these. And then once that happened, we were able to install them. So all in all, it came out pretty good.